Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching EXPOZ today, August 23, 2011, 7:02 p.m., Birmingham, Alabama. And I'll be wrapping up After America, There Is No Place to Go. And I'll pick up where I left off. Mercy Killing Redefined. In 1944, I was a student teacher in a small village in the Alps. The villagers were surrounded by mountain passes which, in the wintertime, were closed off with snow, causing people to be isolated. So people intermarried and offspring were sometimes retarded. When I arrived, I was told there were 15 mentally retarded adults, but they were all useful and did good manual work. I knew one. His name was Vincent. Knew him very well. He was a janitor of the school. One day, I looked out the window and saw Vincent and others getting into a van, and I asked my superior, where are they going? She said to an institution where the state health department would teach them a trade and to read and write. The families were required to sign papers with a clause that they could not visit for 6 months. They were told visits would interfere with the program and might cause homesickness. So, as time passed, letters started to dribble back saying these people died a natural, merciful death. The villagers were not food. We suspected what was happening. Those people left in excellent physical health and all died within 6 months. We call this euthanasia. The final steps: gun laws. Next came gun registration. People were getting injured by guns. Hitler said the real way to catch criminals, and we still had a few, was by matching serial numbers on guns. Most citizens were law-abiding and dutiful, marched to the police station to register their firearms. Not long afterwards, the police said that it was best for everyone to turn in their guns. The authorities already knew who had them, so it was futile not to comply voluntarily. No freedom of speech. Everyone who said anything against the government was taken away. We knew many people who were arrested, not only Jews, but also priests and ministers who spoke up. Totalitarianism. I think that's it. Didn't come quickly. It took 5 years, from 1938 until 1943, to realize full dictatorship in Austria. Had it happened overnight, my countrymen would have fought to the last breath. Instead, we had creeping gradualism. Now, only our weapons were broom handles. The whole idea sounds almost unbelievable, but little by little, we were eroded from our freedom, and it had disappeared. After World War II, Russian troops occupied Austria. Women were raped, preteen to elderly. The press never wrote about this either. Does that remind you of our press today? When the Soviets left in 1955, they took everything that we could dismantle, or that they could dismantle, whole factories in the process. They sawed down whole orchards of fruit, and what they couldn't destroy, they burned. We called it the burned earth. Most of the population barricaded themselves in their houses. Women hid in their cellars for 6 weeks as the troops mobilized. Those who couldn't pay the price There's a mortuary in Vienna, or no, a monument in Vienna today dedicated to those women who were massacred by the Russians. This is an eyewitness account. It's true. Those of us who sailed past the Statue of Liberty came to a country of unbelievable freedom and opportunity. America truly is the greatest country in the world. Don't let freedom slip away. After America, there is no place to go. So if you take what you see and hear and what you know today, you incorporate that into her story, we are living it now. You see it by taking religion out of schools. You see now, I mean, it's a fact that if anyone prays out loud, even on the street, and someone decides they don't like it, they can point them out. That man or woman will be arrested. This is today in America. This is on Main Street, USA. They're taking the friggin' Quran and the Bible and putting them in the same pew. The Crystal Cathedral in California, large mega church. The man died, I can't recall his name, and his son took over preaching, but the people who actually ran and I guess had the money behind the church wanted him to change up his preaching. You need to incorporate and preach to the Christians and to the Muslims. He said, wait a minute, I can't do this. I don't know how to preach to a Muslim. He said, well, you're going to have to put their Quran in the pew and learn how. You don't put a Quran and a Bible side by side. It's like putting a jar of buffalo crap next to a jar of honey and mixing them. They want you to turn in the guns. Want you to register the guns. Look, people, we got to stand up. If we don't stand up, then where else are we going to go? There's not another country on earth like America. And there will never be one again if we let this happen in America. That will be the last. The very last. There's no more on earth. You know, it's safer today in Israel than it is on our streets. You will hear of every person that dies in Iraq, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Libya. Every time there's an attack, you hear about it, right? But you don't hear about the ones in your backyard. You don't hear that 2,000 minimum people that are arrested yearly that killed their spouse because of horrible physical abuse and mental abuse. 25% are women, 75% are men. But then how about the 40,000 that dies a year that you don't know about, you're never told about? How about in Israel? When somebody attacks Israel, it kills a mess of people. You don't hear about it. But if Israel attacked Palestine because a rocket came out of a building and blew up a shop, then Israel blew one back and killed 3 people, oh hell, you hear about that. Look, America's the last place on earth that you can go. If you want it to remain that way, you need to stand up. If you don't want it to remain that way, then look at my last 3 blogs. That's where you'll be. Hell will truly come to America. Jody Wolf, EXPOZ.